Welcome. Today I'm in Windsor and I'm going to show you why Windsor makes a great day out. So let's go and see what activities we can do in this very, very royal town. One thing it's easy to do when you come to somewhere like Windsor is stick to the high street because you kind of see it that's where everything is taking place. But my advice would be to come down some of these little back streets here where you'll find some different businesses, some smaller shops, some lovely looking pubs, it has to be said. So definitely don't get completely taken away with just the high street. Make sure you come down some of these back roads as well. So one of the main reasons that I chose to come to Windsor today was to have a look at the guard change, which is something you can do completely free of charge. It takes place along this route as the guard come out of the barracks, march up the high street and go into the castle. For those of you who've seen my brewery video in Mexico, you'll know that I have a bit of bad luck because typically today they've cancelled the guard change. So there will be no parade up the street, but it happens 4 or 5 times a week depending on the time of year generally. If I'm planning to come here, I suggest you avoid it because I've obviously got bad luck, but what you can do for free is stand at the side of the high street and watch the changing of the guard as they march from the barracks to the castle, but not today unfortunately for me. So I'm going to make up for it later though, because I'm going to go and visit inside the castle, so stay tuned and see what that's like. So with typically no guard change today, am I going to let that dampen my spirits? Absolutely not, because Windsor has more than just a guard change to offer. So I'm going to get my step count up now and I'm going to walk along the near 3 miles of the long walk. And one of the reasons why this makes a great walk is because you have that view to walk back to, and it has to be said, that's one impressive view. And who built a castle under the flight path for Heathrow? Someone needs sacking. So here in Windsor, it's quite unique in the fact that you've got a shopping centre with some bars and restaurants and different shops, and then as I spin round, what you'll see is you've actually got the Windsor and Eton Central Railway Station right here. So if you were to get a train into this station, it brings you right into the heart of Windsor itself, which is I think quite unique. And the way they've done the shopping centre and the concourse and everything else that goes with it, they've kept a lot of the old features. It feels very atmospheric, it feels very old, very quaint and very in keeping, if I'm honest, with the rest of Windsor. And of course there's always people rushing for a train, isn't there, wherever you go. Fantastic. So I found the perfect place for lunch. I'm in a little restaurant, Franco Manca, here on Pescod Street. So I've got my pale ale. I've ordered my ragu pizza, so I'm going to fuel up, and then once I've eaten in here, I'm going to head off to Windsor Castle and take a trip around the castle and see what that has to offer. So I'll see you on the other side. So now that I'm fed and watered, the next thing I'm going to do is take a trip inside Windsor Castle. Now security is very tight to get in. There's airport style security to get into Windsor Castle, and there's bits that you're not allowed to film or photograph, certainly within the staterooms and such like. So I won't actually be adding that part to my video, but I'm hoping there's some parts of the castle where filming will be allowed, and if that's the case then obviously I'll capture it. But I'm really looking forward to actually seeing inside Windsor Castle, and if you visit, that's exactly what you can do. So let's go and see what it's like. So here I am inside the castle grounds with that amazing view behind us. I'm allowed to film outside in sort of garden areas, but not inside, so I thought I'd take the early opportunity to get some footage of the outside here as you come in through the entrance, through the airport style security and into the first bit. So really looking forward to seeing what this is like as we go into the castle. So I've just come out of St George's Chapel, and I have to say I was taken a bit by surprise there. I didn't realise that you could go through the chapel and pay your respects to Her late Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. That was actually worth going inside and having a really good look around what is a beautiful chapel, and also to see where the late Queen was sat during her husband's funeral. I think we can all remember that from the COVID days, where she was sat on her own in the chapel, and you actually get to walk right past where she was sat, and it brings back those memories. So if you are visiting the castle, I would definitely say go into St George's Chapel and definitely pay your respects to Her late Majesty. So I've concluded the indoor part of my tour around Windsor Castle, and I'm now in the grounds just outside, and I have to say it's been fantastic. When I first booked the tickets, I did think it was a little bit pricey for what it was, but actually having been inside now, I can understand. And even if you're not a royalist, if you just consider the architecture and the skills of the craftspeople who've done the tapestries, the wood carvings, the jewellery, the metalwork, all of those skills that they've brought in over many hundreds of years, even if you just admire that, then it is quite breathtaking. Strangely warm inside, which I expected it to be cold. It's a fairly cold day today. But also the fact that once you finish the tour within the castle, you can come out and you've got the grounds behind you, which are so readily recognisable from various events that have taken place on the castle over the years. So all in all, I've thoroughly enjoyed the visit, and it's been really interesting to see the inner workings of the castle, to see what goes on behind the scenes, and to just have a look back at the history of a castle that is over 1,000 years old and is the oldest inhabited castle in the world. So yeah, fascinating, give it a go. So that brings to an end my trip here to Windsor and Windsor Castle today. Absolutely fantastic, really enjoyed it. It was a shame that there was no guard change on, so you do need to check that. It was due to be on today, but it got cancelled. The trip inside the Windsor Castle, well worth it. I thought it was really interesting, and to go into St George's Chapel as well. But there's loads of stuff you can do in Windsor, even if you choose not to go in the castle. Go along the long walk, you can take one of the hop-on and hop-off buses, go on the duck tour, whatever that is, which isn't for me perhaps. But there's loads of lovely bars, restaurants, gift shops that you can go into and take a look around. Now that the heavens have just about started to open, as is typical for this country, I'm going to bid you farewell. But thanks ever so much for watching. Don't forget to hit subscribe, like and ding the bell for more notifications on Days Out Travel on the Days Out Travel channel. Thanks very much.